Welcome to Half-Ass Nerds, playground built on imagination and bullshit. Here just for your sweet, sweet entertainment. Be entertained.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Half-Ass Nerds. This is Joshua.
This is Jonathan.
And we're at TCB Games here in Huntington, Indiana, and with us is...
Todd, Nightenhelser. I'm the owner and proprietor of TCB Games.
Yeah.
This is our very first interview. We want to thank you for giving us the time and giving us a tour of this fantastic building, too. I mean, could you go over what you told us about the building?
Sure, absolutely. And you're welcome. I really enjoy showing off the building. It's everybody's got to have something, and this is my haha, look at me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So this building was the 1904-1907 construction time. Carnegie Library. It was the city library from 1907 to approximately 1986, so right at 80 years.
Wow.
Lots of neat little stories with the building, but we bought the building in 2014 from the city, actually the school corporation, through an auction, silent auction, and fortunately they chose my offer, and we were able to get in here. It took us 5 years to get through all the building requirements and the fire marshal requirements, but
Right, the paperwork there,
oh,
the
man.
red tape.
The red tape is brutal. So government says, hey, do what we say, and then they're like, here's some vague rules, figure it out.
Right, gotta Google it all now.
No, it's called getting an engineering firm and a lawyer to figure it out for me, and then taking that to the city and saying, hey, here's what we think you should let us do. And then they either agree or disagree with that. And if they disagree, then we have to go back to the books and show them exactly why what we wanted to do is okay.
Oh, man.
It's not the way government's supposed to work.
It's terrible,
Like
man.
like I mentioned, I am a little political. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
But
You're in a safe space.
But it's a 10,000 square foot building. When this building was built, there was still a canal out front.
Wow.
And prior to this building being here, there was a Grand Hotel. It was one of the greatest hotels in the whole Midwest for the canal system. So, fun little history I didn't tell you guys before. Yeah. That building mysteriously burnt down with all of the canal owners in it.
No,
That's
geez.
strange. Who benefited from that? Like, what?
Well, it was so strange because there was this labor dispute going on, and somehow all the doors happened to be locked when the fire started.
Oh my gosh.
None of the employees inside the building. Wonder how that happened.
Strange.
I think the slogan of "Eat the Rich" started way before this generation.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so the property is quite historic under the pretense that the parking lot was where all the coal was dispensed, and then there are tunnels all over the community that come from that area. So legally, I own all the tunnels in Huntington.
Wow.
Like, seriously, you do?
Seriously. Now, for insurance purposes, I do not own those tunnels. But if I ever wanted to, I could open up a tunnel and just go exploring.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Do like your own little YouTube thing or something, man. I don't know.
It'd be really neat, but it'd be very dangerous because
Yeah.
Lord knows what's down there. They've been shut off for so long. I know the tunnel between here and where the old Crestview High School was, or the high school in Crestview School, that tunnel still exists, even though the building doesn't. So that one is full of pipes and asbestos and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it was just a heat tunnel.
Jeez.
And that's only about 4 feet tall, 3.5 feet wide. So claustrophobia, you knock yourself out. And then you have to worry about potential collapses from all the years.
Yeah.
Thus why the insurance company's like, you're not opening those.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, the building itself, 10,000 square feet, Carnegie, the community and Carnegie got together with the historical purpose there. I can give you the whole Carnegie reasoning, but he gave a lot of money to communities to build libraries. Huntington took him up on it, and Huntington put $20,000 down in 1903. He matched that. So they built this building for $40,000 in 1903. So a little over $3 million in today's money.
Right, which is just amazing. This building is beautiful, man, just gorgeous. But you also, like all the wood in here, you said is from around the area as well.
Yeah, so the community, when they built this building, decided that if they're going to do it, they're going to do it the right way, and they're going to source everything locally as they could. Prior to 1920s, basically Bryant Street all the way to Warren was still forest. And in Warren, it was old growth oak. And they literally cut down a bunch of oak trees and made a highway from Warren to Huntington, primarily to get to the canals. But since the canal was right in front of where this building was built, all that wood came here. So basically all the wood in this building is old growth oak from Huntington County. Pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. Wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like we have many trees around here. You know?
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's all in your building, man.
There's a lot of wood in this building for sure. Then the metal for the stacks that come from Gary, Indiana, is from the early steel mills there. The glass was from Gary, Indiana as well. I didn't show you guys that, but the second floor of the stacks is glass floors. It's original glass.
Wow.
A little creepy for anybody above 250 pounds.
Sure.
But it's rated, I had an engineer in here and he said 450 pounds is the limit to that glass. So if you're a really big person, please don't go up there.
Yeah, right.
But in the same breath, normal people or even bigger than normal people should be fine.
Yeah.
But then all the stone came from southern Indiana as far as the outside of the building. So that H.A.N limestone, that's from Lafayette. And then the basement is all quarried from Memorial Park here in town.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Again, wouldn't have guessed, and you said that's the same for a lot of buildings downtown here?
Nearly all the downtown buildings, their foundations are from the quarry at Memorial Park.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's our Huntington episode now.
Yeah, our Huntington history lesson too.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. It's awesome, you know?
And what time did you start the business here at this location?
At this location, we started May 17th, 2017.
17. So you've been here a little while.
Yeah.
Guess I was wrong. I was like, only a couple years. I was off.
3 years.
Correct, yeah.
So, I mean, still a couple years in comparison. I mean, we opened the business in January 1998. I started the business officially in 97. So whenever I tell people how long we've been in business, I tell them 24 years.
Yeah.
Close enough counts to me. But, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're starting a business out of spite.
Yeah, no kidding. You said because your mom said you shouldn't or you can't.
Yeah, my mom, we actually had a house fire when I was a kid, teenager, and I guess I was 19 when I had a house fire. And she was trying to throw away my comic books and cards and things like that because, insurance is going to pay for it, is what she kept saying. And I was like, no, I'm keeping that stuff. I don't care.
Right.
She's like, well, it's worth nothing. You're not going to make anything out of it. So what's the point? And it's like, no, I can make money on this. And she goes, prove it. I'm like, I've been going to baseball card conventions for years, making several hundred every weekend, and that wasn't enough for her. And she's like, well, hobbies are one thing, but making a living off it, now that's something different.
Yeah.
Somehow I was like, oh, fine, I'll open a game or a card shop and show you. So 24 years later, now I'm like, hey, I actually made a profit this year. Huzzah.
Showed you, Mom.
It only took me 24 years of spite, but I got it.
So could you explain what the TBC game, what it all encompasses? Like what do you sell? What?
Sure. It's TCB.
I'm sorry. TCB.
And the original name of the company is The Collector's Box, TCB.
Okay,
there
The
you
Collector's
go.
Box. Yeah.
Because when I opened the business, I knew I liked sports cards because we opened this business as sports and comic books.
Okay.
But I knew it wasn't going to stay that way, because in '97 was also the baseball strike, and sports cards went from super popular to we hate those guys. So it was a really terrible time to open a sports card store. But I had already done all the work for it, and I was like, well, maybe people will get over it. They didn't get over it.
Oh, man.
They did recently, 2018 or so, sports cards became popular again.
No
Too bad I gave away about 1 million of them in 2015.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Wah, wah, right?
Yeah.
But, TCB Games is basically an everything center for entertainment. If you come into my store, my employee handbook's very first sentence: if you're not having fun, you're in the wrong place. That's for my employees and that's for my customers. So when you come through the doors, you should be wowed. You should be happy to see the things that you see, and you should be infinitely curious about what other things are there to be found. Gotcha. So there's everything you can imagine, and I'm trying to expand it. Right now, it's obviously video games, card games, Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, Digimon now. In theory, that's coming in this week. And then you've got anime, we've got Dungeons and Dragons, we've got a very large selection of comic books. Sports cards are back in the store for the first time in 20 years.
You excited, or is that just kind of...
It's a bite my lip situation because I can't actually get them in as well as I'd like. So I'm overpaying for things that in my head, just aren't worth what I'm paying for them. But I'm not the collector anymore, so I can't say what's what. I just do my best for the customer.
Right. That makes sense.
But it is exciting to say that the two things that I started the business with, I have them back in the business again, and it only took me 23 years to do it.
Right.
Only. So, and then I'm very passionate about board games. We have one of the larger selections, definitely not top 5, but pretty large selection of board games in the state of Indiana. By the end of this summer, I will easily have the largest selection of board games, minus maybe one in Indianapolis where they're exclusively a board game store. I think they'll beat me. Every time I say I'm going to get more, they always manage to find even more. So
they got spies in here.
Everybody's got spies. Everybody takes my great ideas. But the business is pretty solid in that fact that we have a lot. There's nobody that encompasses my inventory anywhere. And I've had people from all over the country come in here and just marvel at how much stuff we have. Now, from my accountant standpoint, I have way too much stuff. I should probably get rid of it. I'm a hoarder. That's not happening. It's just not going to happen. Beyond that, we are getting into miniatures. We have autographs. Quite a large selection of autograph stuff. So if you're a horror fan, I went a little overboard. So I've got a lot of Jason signed machetes and masks and things like that. For Christmas, Halloween this year, I could not just stop. I love horror stuff, so I kept buying more.
Me too. I'm
it's a large
fan too.
Yeah.
We got Pinhead signed baubles. We've got
Pinhead. Oh, God, so cool.
I've got a Halloween mask signed by the first actor that played Michael Meyer.
Wow.
So
that's really good.
Yeah. And it's my own little joke. I've got it on the same bodysuit with the Purple People Eaters.
Okay.
It's a sports team from the 70s for the Vikings, but their nickname was the Purple People Eaters, so I put a Michael Myers mask on that same display. Only that's one funny. Person's noticed. I gave them a discount on their stuff because
they noticed that.
There's a certain level of nerd that got that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you gave them a discount. That's cool too,
why not?
Man. Yeah.
I'm old. You gotta give the guys that get what I'm doing a little high five.
Right.
But we do quite a lot. You're sitting in a room with 13 arcades in it, and we're hoping to make that more like 30, so we can have a full quarter arcade.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there are arcades again, but it's kind of takes away the point if you're not putting a quarter in.
Yeah.
The places that it's like $10, play all you want.
Yeah.
Those get boring really fast. Why? Because there's no reason to try hard. I want quality from the play. If I'm going to put a quarter in, by God, I'm going to go out of my way to not lose my quarter.
Yeah,
That's true.
So
That's true.
when you go to like Dave and Buster's, you're like, oh, well, I lost. Move on to the next game. The game's still playing. That, as a gamer, drives me insane. If I'm going to play Turtles, we got 4-player Turtles right behind you. If I'm going to play Turtles, I'm not dying.
Yeah.
Why? Because that thing's going to suck my quarters out.
Yeah.
But if it's on
Remember
free play,
Dragonlance?
oh, yeah.
That thing was a quarter feed.
Dungeons and Dragons with the original.
Yeah.
The screen above it.
Yeah.
Dude, that one's guaranteed about halfway through. You're doing too well. It's like they tell you, you're doing too well.
Yeah.
Put 2 quarters in now, or else.
Yeah.
Did they warned you and everything?
Pretty much. I mean, they didn't say it outright, but it's like, make this decision. Both of them, you're going to die. So there was one way to get through that, but I didn't know anybody could do it. Yeah, I'm plenty old, so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm 45, so.
50.
Oh, you got me, bro. So you know what I'm talking about for real.
Yeah.
But
I'm here to learn. That's
well, between the two of us, but yeah, I mean that whole idea of playing arcades for the quarter to be able to do the best that you can on the least amount of money, it's just lost on the current generation. They just don't get it because why? Everything that's in this room, they can get on their phone and they get bored with it and they'll just stop. Well, when you got somebody behind you going, dude, get it, go, go, go. Completely different game. Completely different.
And your money you're feeding into that machine. You want to make sure you did well. That's why the game that I was really good back in the day was Dig Dug.
Oh, man.
The stand-up arcade Dig Dug. I was pretty good at that one.
Been trying to find one of those, but can't seem to get one.
Yeah.
It's one of everybody's top 10 games.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's when you do find it, they want $2,000-$3,000 for it.
Wow.
I'm too cheap for that.
Yeah, that's great.
I do take donations, so if anybody's if you want to add to our collection here, we'll put a plaque on it. Just saying.
Get your name on a plaque.
I'll do it. It's all about the reputation for me. I want every arcade game that's in here, I chose for a reason.
Yeah.
So we have have you ever played Gorf?
No, Gorf? Yeah.
You know why that game's so incredible?
What is that?
That game changed the IP laws in the United States. It went to
Really?
the Supreme Court. Because before Gorf came out, there were no intellectual properties rules.
Oh, okay.
Because this is an electronic game, this is new. There's no rules for it. Sure. So what Gorf did is they're like, oh, we really like Space Invaders. But you know what? We really, really like Galaxian. We really also like Yar's Revenge. We also like, and they literally just went through and took the favorite things from the very best games in all of arcades and crammed them into one. Then they didn't stop there. They stole the best graphics from everything else out there as well. They took Star Wars. They took Star Trek. They took Galaga. They took, and they won their lawsuit. Because all these companies sued them because, like, hey, that's ours.
Yeah.
But the new law that came out was it had to be 20% different from the previous incarnation.
Gotcha.
And what, they took so much that they had 20% difference?
There were 15 things in the game that they stole, and not one of them was more than 20% of the game, so they win.
Yeah.
So the only people that went was like Pac-Man. It's like, whoa, at least you didn't steal Pac-Man.
One of the old classic games I've been wanting to play again with a stand-up is Tron. Do you remember the Tron game?
Yeah, those are impossible to find as
They're
well.
impossible to find. Jeez. Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I know where there's one
how
in
much?
Chicago right now. It's going for about $10,000.
Jeez.
That's a mint condition one, but they're expensive.
Still.
Wow.
Yeah.
You would think with the pandemic going on and all that the prices of arcades would go down because a lot of arcades went out of business because they're purely based on crowds.
Right.
And at first that's what happened, and that's how I got mine. I got these at a pretty wicked steal. But since then that has changed because individuals are like, oh, we'll help the arcade guys out. We're going to buy their stuff and give them way too much money for it. So when they come back, a lot of these guys have an agreement that when they come back in, they'll put those machines back into the arcade, and the arcade owner can pay them back for it later. So
that's nice,
the community for arcade guys are outstanding.
Yeah.
So there's a guy in Tennessee that just opened up a megaplex. It's really just a Dave & Buster's, but he's got like 100,000 square feet of arcades.
And they're like the classic arcades, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
100,000 square feet, though. That's almost everything ever made. That's a lot of arcades.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pinball machines. And on the other side, he runs a restaurant and a beer establishment.
Nice.
And it's all free to play for that one. But I reached out to him a few weeks ago, and he was like, "No, man, I get you. I just understand that people are a little struggling right now, so I want kids to be able to come in off the street and just play for free."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, high five to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Good to have deep
wicked
pockets.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, to get that many arcades, you're talking $20-30 million for that many arcades. So,
Better have insurance, man.
If you got $20-30 million to just throw around, you got $20-30 million to let kids play games for free.
Guess that's fair. Must
So-
be a Carnegie, huh?
No. There are no Carnegies in today's society, but they're trying real hard.
I don't know.
Jeff Bezos at a $200 billion value is getting close to the Carnegie level.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I thought you were saying like Carnegie's
Giving?
grandchildren were trying to resurface or something.
Yeah, I don't think so. Carnegie didn't give that money on purpose. He had two choices: lose it all, go to jail, or give it away. So he's like, let's give it away.
Oh yeah,
Now,
that's right.
His legacy ended up being one of great giving and being a wonderful human being. But to get there, he was ruthless, and he dominated the steel market like nobody has ever dominated any market before.
Yeah, I just seen a documentary
Changed
on
laws. Speaking of, you saw a documentary
on Carnegie.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, on History Channel just a little bit ago.
Yeah, I've seen it too. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he starts out as, he had family money, not a lot, had a family steel business, and saw how they were all doing okay, but none of them were doing great. So he went into debt to buy 3 of his competitors, got them to break even, and then bought 10 of his competitors, break even, and then he bought 15 more of his competitors. And then all of a sudden he had all the East Coast steel. Then he bought all the Midwest steel. Then he bought all the European steel. Then he started buying Russian steel, and before you know it, he literally owned 70% of all steel being made in the world.
Wow.
So you couldn't build anything without this guy's approval.
Now that's a monopoly.
Truth be told. So, with Bezos, he's at 70% of all things sold on the internet.
Yeah, I know, right?
We can call that a monopoly.
Right.
But who am I? I'm just some small game store owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then our next
Don't mind
question.
us, Bezos.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we can move on here.
I was just wondering how the COVID has affected your business.
It's been different. We started out when COVID hit. We were very much thinking that we were done. We just like everybody else. What do you do when your business is based around having people in the store all the time, and those people are no longer allowed to come in, and nor should they? It's a scary thing. I mean, how about you guys? I'm down 14 friends. 14 people I know have died.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Nobody really close, but people I've known.
Yeah.
Right.
And a bunch of them were from Thanksgiving this year. After everybody's like, "Don't go see your family, you might die." And they did.
It was pretty real.
Yeah, it's very real. And then, of course, I went and got it at Christmas and went to my sister's house. We didn't know I had it, but fortunately, nobody got hurt. Nobody was really sick. Just an annoyance for us. But it says a lot. We thought we were being safe, and we still managed to
Get it
and pass it around a little bit.
right.
So, but anyway, for the business, COVID was tough. We almost went out, called my employees back in March of last year and said, "Yeah, you guys are all laid off." I laid off my entire staff from the middle of March through the end of April. And I'll do what I can, guys, but by the end of April, if I can't figure it out, we're just going to close. And that was a tough one. But, I've got some good people in my family and good people in my life. That's like, you've never given up on anything in your life. Why would you give up on something as stupid as a pandemic? I'm like, come on, it's only a pandemic. You can get over that.
Right.
So what I did was changed my advertising. I offered door-side service, delivery. I offered, you name it, I did it. Changed how I advertise is the biggest one. Changed who I advertise to. I decided that pretty much all the real nerds in the area know where I'm at. They either love me or they hate me. Either way. I'm not going to get them to sway one way or another. So fighting that fight wasn't worth it. So who could I change my advertising to? So instead of advertising to your stereotypes, teenage boys between the ages of 16 and 35, I switched to moms.
Yeah,
so my advertising is directly centered around mothers and mothers with children.
Like, how'd you manage that? How do you directly advertise to?
And that's part where I'm going to try and help you guys out. Is advertising for your market is one thing. Content is only part of the job. It's commitment and knowing an audience. Once you get those things, your content is secondary. So with my business, I cheat. I have this really awesome building. So aesthetics become more important than the products. Sure. And when you start looking at things from an aesthetic position, who is your primary target? Guys don't really care that much about aesthetics. We're like, I know what my life's like. As long as there aren't socks on the floor when I walk in, I'm okay with this job, this business. Mom, on the other hand, if there's a piece of paper on the floor, that's not okay. Yeah, right. So we doubled down on cleaning, and it's still real tough because of the style of business. Yeah. But we changed our merchandising, and then we started hitting Facebook direct ads, and we hit the 18 to 65 mothers having at least one child. So you can really direct that.
Direct
through like Facebook ads and stuff.
And I've only really done Facebook and Instagram. We have some plans for some really, really cool stuff, but here's another one for all the people out there listening. I'm looking for a graphics designer and stop motion animation. I have $1,000 sitting for the right person to make me a stop motion animation commercial.
That would be awesome.
That is cash money. Have it in hand. I'll give it to you in $5 bills if that's what makes you feel good.
But all right, half-ass nerd listeners, there's a challenge out there.
Stop motion. That's pretty cool, man. What's like the idea there, if you don't
mind? We're gonna hold that one back. That's mine, buddy.
Okay. That's fair.
I am confident that my idea for what I want to do for advertising will change advertising, not just in our industry, but I think it'll change the whole advertising in America. Because the average person's attention span is 0. Sure. And if they're not being entertained, then why are they watching? Right. So let's change commercials to be entertaining. That is the baseline of my idea, and we'll keep it at that.
Like it.
But I need somebody to get that going for me. But because of me changing my ideas on how and why we advertise, we have significantly changed our perspective on potential for the business. Where last year I was like, well, we're done, we're out of this. 23 years was a good run. To now we're like, wow, I've got enough money to fix the furnaces, and now I have enough money to fix the roof. And my employees have all gotten $1.50 an hour raises and get big fat bonuses at the end of the month because they work their butts off. We're now giving them Y memberships, and if they want it, they can split the difference for healthcare. I mean, we're in a game store. How many packs of Pokemon do I have to sell to be able to pay for 5 employees' health insurance?
Health insurance, that's probably a big expense.
By the way, I do look at everything as how many packs of Magic or packs of Pokemon I have to sell to pay for something. And let me tell you, my $7,000 furnace, that's a lot of packs of Pokemon.
That's a lot of packs.
I mean, I only make about $1.60 on a pack of Pokemon as a rule, so you do the math.
Exactly.
That's a lot of packs.
A lot of packs.
So
legendary. No.
Yeah, keep them coming. But it's also why we sell singles and things like that. Far better profit margin. But in the world of my business, I have to look at everything as what's your most common thing, what's the profit margin on that thing, and how many of that do you have to sell to be able to move forward. So when you do that with advertising, how many more people do you need in here to hit those numbers? It's not a matter of how much money you spend. I need more butts in the seats, as the theaters always say.
Yeah.
So if you got more people coming through the door, it doesn't matter how much they spend, so long as they're spending something. We have a very, very high retention rate of sales in this store. We're looking right around 90% of the people that walk through the door spend at least $15 in here.
Nice.
That's nice.
And yeah.
It's not nice. That's
It's not.
extremely atypical to any industry.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds good to my group.
Across the board, we just have an extremely high retention rate. Primarily because our customer service, I train my guys to be top notch. Our inventory hits everybody. If there's not something in here you like, tell me, I'll find it.
Yeah.
And if I don't have it or have the ability to get it, give me a little bit of time, I'll find it. I'm tenacious. You just can't give up.
Yeah.
And that's the story of this business. You just can't give up. I mean, 5 years ago, when I ran for Congress, while I was gone, my employees just pretty much gave up on the business. I can assume a lot of things, but reality is sales went from the $17,000 a month that we were used to all the way down to $3,800 for the month of October that year.
Jeez, ouch.
As an update, I did over 5,000 just last Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how bad it was.
Wow.
Right.
You know, $3,800, our average profit margin in this business, right around 44%. So quick math says I didn't even do $1,700 in profit, and I had 5 employees making $9 an hour each. Math says I lost a lot of money that month.
Yeah.
In reality, my wife had to go get a loan just to pay the employees that month.
Man.
So tenacity and hard work got me. I flipped the business around. I took over. I worked all the hours for 6 months straight.
Love that, man. Never give up. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Never give
just-
up. Never surrender.
Yeah, right.
Galaxy Quest. You all should watch that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I've seen it. Maybe more than that.
It's been a while.
I watch
Yeah.
it 2 to 3 times every year.
I thought you were going to say a night, like you just go
No,
home.
that'd be all right. But, no, I mean, there are certain movies that you just gotta, you know what? This one clicks.
Yeah, mine's Fight Club. I think I've seen that 30, 40 times.
See, I'm not even allowed to put that one on in my house.
Oh, because you got kids? Or?
No, I got a 16-year-old. She's Fight Club is purely a mental
Yeah.
movie. I mean, it hits every social condition. It hits every mental condition.
Yeah.
That movie is all highbrow, unless you want it to be lowbrow, and then it's just entertaining because they're beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Right.
But my wife hates it because I point out all the highbrow stuff, and she's like, I just want to enjoy the movie.
And just let me watch Brad Pitt. That's
He's
it.
pretty. But on the flip side, did I mention I'm ADD? You guys got me all
that's
over the
fine.
place.
Yeah.
Welcome to
In case you
Half-Ass
didn't-
Nerds.
Yeah, this is what
Most
we're
of us
about.
are, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the industry I chose. I'm like, hey, your attention span's as long as mine. What was that you said?
Yeah.
Attention, what? No.
But anyway,
Yeah.
We've done a lot on getting through, changed our advertising, changed our products, changed our position on customers. Now, I literally at this point, if you come in with a bad attitude, I'm probably going to tell you to leave. If you come in to play in my game area and you're in just a bad mood and you just can't get over it, I'm definitely going to tell you to leave.
Yeah.
And if you come back multiple times, you're going to be asked to leave and not come back. That's taboo in the industry.
Yeah.
I fire customers.
Yeah. I wish I could.
I mean, kind of building an atmosphere here, man. It's
Absolutely what we're looking for. We got a few guys that have just bad attitudes all the time, and we let them stay for purposes. We got one guy in here.
They built the role.
Yeah, well, they're good people. They're not being
yeah.
mean or angry because they're mean and angry. We got one guy we call Angry first name, and we love him.
Yeah.
he's, I lose, whatever. But he's also the very first guy to go, oh, you need help with that? Here you go, buddy. I'll take care of that for you. I'll go buy you a pack. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Because the real customer in him isn't the angry guy. It's the good guy that's wanting to have more people to play. He just gets frustrated easy while playing card games. So we all get used to that part. But the people they're mean to be mean, I don't want you here. So
big difference there.
We got to keep the first line. Everything. Read that first line. Handbook. If you're not having fun, you're in the wrong place. Go away. You're taking me down, man.
Yeah, man. No. Yeah, so what'd you start with, man? What was like your nerd beginnings?
My real first nerd thing. Lord of the Rings, 1978 cartoon.
Yeah. We talked about this last episode. We just talked about this last episode. Yeah.
So, not only was it my first thing, it was my real thing. Because once I got that, and I'm plenty old, so back in '83 or '84, it was on VHS. Maybe '85. It was really early. Somebody got it for me for Christmas. And we didn't even have a VHS player at my house. And my mom's like, dude, we can't afford that. So I guess I was 8. So at 8 years old, so that'd be 1984. I went out and got jobs and figured out how to make the money. And my mom's like, well, I'll put this much money towards it. And I paid for half of the house's first VCR. Also, I could watch my Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then I played it so much that it broke.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, I had an uncle that was pretty awesome. And Uncle Ron gave me The Hobbit, the book. He's like, look, you like that show so much. Here, read the book. Dude, I read the pages off that book. So when the new movies came out called The Hobbit, and I say called The Hobbit because that was not The Hobbit.
Yeah, it was not The Hobbit.
It was in there. And the parts that were The Hobbit, it's like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. But then they're like, let's put the simulacrum in there too. I'm like, it doesn't even fit the story. What are you doing?
Yeah. I agree with you.
The Hobbit was no epic.
Still watched it, but
I watched the first one. I refused to watch the rest.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Nope, can't ruin my favorite book. I can quote the book.
Yeah.
I bet I read that book 40 times.
I just recently went through and read
awesome,
all of the books, like we talked about last episode. So,
I don't know, man. I tried to go back and read Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I could not get through the Shire.
Yeah.
The Shire's so painful.
Yeah. And his battle scenes are real short.
Yeah.
They're nothing like the movies,
Yeah.
But
and attention span and all that. But
Right.
Yeah. Have you read Lord of the Rings? That's
not
a no.
all the way through. No.
No,
I know it's
the Shire's
the greatest shame.
23 chapters of how beautiful a place is.
Yeah.
It's like some old guy going, how great Huntington County is, when you know, in fact, Huntington County's nice, but not all that he's trying to make it out to be. That's what the Shire was.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time they're leaving, you're going, oh, thank God. But he's setting that stage for the purpose of whenever they say, for the Shire, it's because that love is meant to be there, and that's what he's put through the whole books. And not everybody gets that when they watch the movies. They're just a bunch of hobbits trying to save their own butts.
Yeah.
So
didn't get how many chapters of the Shire was that?
23.
23, yeah.
It might be more. I think 23 is where I gave up last time reading. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, that movie was the key thing. Then, of course, I had a different uncle that we watched Scooby-Doo like you wouldn't believe. So everything Scooby-Doo was cool.
We won't bring that up.
Yeah, he doesn't like Scooby-Doo. I was a big fan, but, that's all right.
How?
I know. I get this a lot.
I mean,
it's because I really wanted it to be a ghost or really be a monster. I didn't want it to be a guy in a mask.
That's fair. But, yeah, it's still Scooby-Doo, man. That's the...
I was watching Voltron at the time.
Yeah, I told him he just didn't get Scooby-Doo then. He just didn't quite understand, and that's okay. I haven't read Lord of the Rings, so that's my shame.
So I commonly call myself King of the Geeks. So We'll give you squireships at this point because you both have failures that are unable to be looked over.
I made it. I'm a squire. I'm getting there.
But look, Scooby-Doo, buddy, I've got original animation cells personally in my collection.
Wow, I admire and I value Scooby-Doo. I just didn't get into it when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was great up until Scrappy-Doo, and
that really was annoying. I have to admit. Yeah. Scrappy-Doo.
The killer was when Scrappy-Doo was out, so was Flim Flam in, and I loved Flim Flam.
Yeah. I remember Flim Flam.
Flim Flam, not familiar.
Little kid that was an orphan boy that was a particularly good thief. And he just joined. It was when Shaggy and Daphne were running around, not the whole gang. So it was like Evolution 4 of Scooby-Doo. And they made Scrappy-Doo the main character right above everybody else, and it was just...
That's weird.
Not weird, just tough to deal with that little whiny, grumpy puppy dog.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, the unicorn noise. Do you remember him? He was annoying, but I love that show.
Yeah. Gosh, stop!
And it would always get him in trouble in the show.
Yeah.
This little damn unicorn would get him in trouble every single time. Mm-hmm. Like, kill that thing.
Like, leave that at home, something. No, that was a big one for me, too. The whole opening sequence of the D&D cartoon, that was like 1987, I think.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was developing my nerdism at that point. But the whole idea of these kids playing a game and they go into the game was just fascinating to me. And then I found out about the same time, that's a real game. Buddy, I'm in.
Yeah, as soon as that opened up, when I was starting to play, when I was a kid, was playing D&D.
I didn't really get to play much.
Really?
My parents didn't care, but we were also dirt poor, so I couldn't afford the books.
Yeah, they were expensive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then my friends, I was very athletic, or at least I tried to be at a young age. So all my friends were wannabe jocks, and we're talking the 80s. So you're either a jock or you're a nerd.
Yeah.
You couldn't be both.
Yeah.
So I tried to be both, and it didn't work out too well. Little asthmatic guy. Yeah. Up until I hit puberty, I was 4'0" and weighed nothing. All the way in like 8th grade, I was 80 pounds and 4'10".
And how tall are you now?
I'm 6 foot, 220.
Didn't say taller than me, man.
So
sprouted out.
I'm the little guy in my family. I have a brother that's 6'8", two brothers that are around 6'5".
I'm only 6'1".
So I'm the little
giants.
Guy. Yeah. My mom's 4'9", so the men in my family keep marrying short women. This is what happens. I get to be the little guy at 6 foot.
Not sure you giants have a choice. Everyone's small to you, right? Like, it's just not much.
I'm only slightly above average. Yeah. Now, the brothers, they're big boys. I mean, the 6'8" brother, he was like, man, I'm not dating anybody unless they're 6'2" or 6'3". And even then, he's like, crap. How many women are above 6'2"?
Yeah.
Almost none.
So what, he give up on that idea?
No, actually, he found a beautiful woman, very smart and very talented, 6'2", and now they live in California, making more money than I care to admit. He's an incredibly intelligent young man, and because he is tall and smart, it's not gonna lie. If you break 6'4", things in the world are a lot easier to do. People respect tall people more. I don't know why, they just do.
Yeah, they do.
Interesting.
So,
psychology there,
there's a lot of psychology behind it. And when you're really smart like him, he uses it to his advantage. So I give him a lot of props for being able to know where he can use his abilities and move forward. He's management at corporate Sony right now, so
wow,
for a kid from the Midwest, that's big deal stuff.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
But
here's another question for you: are you DC or are you Marvel?
That's not even a choice, man.
It's not even a choice.
All Marvel all day.
Yeah, I've definitely read way more Marvel comics than DC.
Yeah. DC never adapted with the times.
Yeah.
I really, really like Flash. I really, really like Wonder Woman. But that's about it for DC. I mean, you got to give Batman some props, but his superpower is money. I'm not down with that. We'll give him his iron will is his real superpower as for our regular. But great. That's not something that you really should be like, all right, good job, you. Granted, now I'm really upset because, the Bezos of the world, he can be Batman and he's not Batman. There's a problem with that. But the guys from Marvel in the 60s, they took a lot of effort into making each character a personality trait and type that is meant to say, you're okay, to the reader. So, the Incredible Hulk, he was brilliant, but he didn't know how to control his brilliance, and it caused his Hulk to come out, his anger. How do you control your anger? Well, you don't. And if you don't control it, Hulk happens. There's a story to be had there. Spider-Man, responsibility, curiosity.
Iron Man is one another deep personality because he struggled with alcoholism at one point during the comics.
Yeah, I'll give him a little bit there, but his superpower again is money. I mean, granted, brilliance. So I'm looking at Elon Musk. You should be Iron Man. Totally, you can do it. But again, that type of brilliance has the potential to make stupid amounts of money. But both storylines, they came from wealth and didn't gain wealth. I like stories where they came from nothing, became something. Why? Because I grew up in the Midwest. Nobody has anything here, and if you think you have something, you're nothing.
It's a lie.
I mean, there's a few farmers around here that are worth tens of millions, and mostly it's all wrapped up in their land. They're not wealthy until they decide to sell out. They can get by and do pretty well and do whatever they want. But the big money around here isn't from around here. It's somebody that went to the East Coast, West Coast, whatever, made a ton of money, and then came to the Midwest to hoard it. We got dragons around here.
We do.
So, but when it comes to the two, I hugely a Marvel fan. I'm again super nerd. I've been going to comic book conventions since the 90s. I have met Stan Lee. I have met Gary Gygax. I've met almost everybody that's important to the legend of what is nerdism. When I met Stan Lee, he was sitting at a table by himself with nothing. He didn't even have somebody bringing him food. But that was back in the 90s when the dude was broke. Broke in. Without Kevin Smith, Stan Lee would have never made it to where he's at.
Kevin Smith. We give him props on our podcast too.
Kevin Smith is a god amongst men within the nerd world.
Oh yeah.
There's no question about that one. I have not met Kevin Smith though.
That's why I'm doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, one day. Kevin Smith, where you at, buddy? No.
Bro, I'm there. I mean, I got his number, but like I've ever called him, like he'd actually answer. I got a lot of crazy stories. So if you guys ever want to hear some stories, because I've been to conventions where I've met like John Cena and nearly the entire Ghostbusters cast.
Wow. Bill Murray you've met?
I have met Bill Murray.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to have that
He's every bit as funny in person as he...
I've heard that.
That's going to be my question. Is he actually that funny?
Oh, he's funny. When he's not trying to be funny, he's his sarcastic ass, which makes it even funnier to me.
Yeah, right. I love that.
But it's not like I spent real time with him. Ernie, I spent a lot of time with Ernie. Ernie used to do the comic book series and just sign books and toys and stuff. And this is the way I always look at the way I do stuff when I go to a comic book convention. I don't pay for autographs. I don't care about your autograph. I sell them in my store because some people love that. But I want to meet the guy. I want to be the person. And Ernie, I said 2003, 2004, he was at Gen Con, just sitting there twiddling his thumbs, doodling, bored out of his mind. So I sat down, started talking to him. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm going to give you a sandwich. I'll be right back." And I was like, "No, you take a seat. I'll get you a sandwich." I went and got him a sandwich. We sat and talked for a little bit longer. He's like, "Dude, you want me to sign anything?" He's like, "Nah, that's cool." He's like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, I want to hang out with somebody who was on Ghostbusters, man.
Yeah, why else, man?
And he was like, that's fair. It was a lot of hard work. Really good dude. We went and had steak that night.
No kidding.
That's awesome.
So,
because you addressed him like a normal person.
Yeah,
right?
that's what almost any star wants. They don't want to be treated like a superstar or whatever. They want to be treated like a normal human being. And me, I want to meet the human being. I don't care about the character.
Yeah, or your signature necessarily.
Yeah, I mean,
that's more important than who he is. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I've met plenty of stars that were just, this is my persona, and you can't get in my bubble. God, I hate those people.
Yeah.
Ashton, dude played Rudy in Samwise Gamgee. I forgot his name all of a sudden.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I do too. Dang, half-ass nerd.
Half-ass nerd.
Yeah, I'm gonna add into that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna half-ass that one. Sean Astin.
Sean Astin.
Yeah. Right.
I literally ran into him at Gen Con one year. Like, ran into him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was awesome.
kidding.
He's hilarious. He goes, we were walking through the main floor in Gen Con, and at Gen Con there are chainmail sellers, and there was a woman dressed as Red Sonja. You guys know who Red Sonja is?
I know who Red Sonja is.
Okay, you do. He probably doesn't because he's not old enough.
Yeah.
You don't know?
Not quite.
Basically, think of Conan the Barbarian, 6 foot tall, red haired chick.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Where is this? Write that one down.
Red Sonja. But there was a 6'4", red-haired Red Sonja chick there, but she was wearing nothing but chainmail, and I mean nothing.
Okay.
And
That had to hurt.
that's a little startling when you're in a room with 100,000 men, and you're like, well, hello.
Yeah.
Evidently, Sean and I were looking at the same thing at the same time going, man, that's got to be cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And for that matter, it's a good thing she's giant, because I think she'd be breaking a lot of arms from just people getting too close, you know?
Yeah.
So we're just looking and walking, and we literally just ran into one another. Both looking, same thing, didn't see where we're going, distracted fully.
Yeah.
I knock him down, I kind of stumble back, almost fall down myself, help him up, and he's like, saw what I saw? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, at least we're not gay. And I was like, well, I suppose that's one way to look at it. And he's like, oh, no, just saying. We weren't trying to be rude or discriminatory or anything. It was just that whole 6 foot tall, red hair, Amazonian stereotype female wearing basically nothing in the middle of a bunch of guys. That's going to get your attention. And that, boy, did it do it.
Yeah.
Shook my hand. He's like, hey, signature or something? And I was like, no, we're good, man. Have a good one. And he just looked at me like I was crazy or something. And we just moved on, just walked on our way. It's no big deal. So, yeah, I've met plenty of good guys and stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
So one of the questions we like to ask, we want to make sure we ask in every interview is, what is your half-ass nerd thing?
I got a lot of half-ass nerds.
Something you love, but you're not an expert of.
It's D&D.
D&D.
Yep. I started out playing it and loving it, but again, I never had the books. I never got to play a lot. When I first opened the business, I ran a campaign with one of my buddies, and he was like, mega D&D. And I played games with him, and I was always having to look everything up. I have got a massive memory for things, but since I didn't have a lot of experience with it, I always was dragging the party behind, so I eventually just quit. And truly, in 98, 99, that was the last time I ran a real campaign where I was part of it. Now, will I read the rules and get caught up? Sure. Do I know what's out? Yeah, absolutely. Do I know the storylines? Yep, I know that too. Can I sit down and play a game without having to reread all the rules and know what my dice are? Nope, not a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I even worked with one of my customers here, and we designed D&D Stranger Things a year before it came out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's a good idea with Stranger Things.
Awesome.
Well, since Stranger Things meant to be based off of D&D, it only made sense to turn it back around.
Yeah.
So for my daughter's 13th birthday, we did Stranger Things D&D for her and her friends. So my buddy / customer of mine, we spent the better part of 2 months coming up with a campaign. He ran all the, hey, if this guy's a paladin, then this guy must be this, so on and so forth. And we got it all together, ran it. The girls had a blast. They had a couple boys come with that were idiots, so they kind of ruined it. But the girls had a good time. And then me, being the brilliant human being that I am, I was on a retailer's website, and somebody's like, what have you guys done for the Stranger Things coming out? And I was like, I did D&D Stranger Things. This is what it is, and gave a basic synopsis of it. Yeah, about 6 months later, it was at GameStop. So,
wow.
Mental note. Don't tell other retailers your ideas because they're going to make money off of it.
I was going to ask if you guys or he did actually turn it into the
No,
game.
we should have.
Like,
I have this huge problem of giving too many ideas away.
Yeah, good thing you held back earlier, huh?
Yeah, well, mostly. I mean, anybody that knows anything about marketing can figure out where I'm going with that. But like Skylanders, that was my idea.
Oh, yeah?
Dude at a toy show stole it from me, offered me a job, and said, well, what's your idea? I said, why don't you do interactive toys? It's way better, because the guy that was doing that was selling Ben 10, the interactive card game with video games for PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
I don't.
If you remember that for the system, I'm going to be really impressed. It was out for approximately 2 months before they pulled it.
Yeah, it was a cartoon. Right?
Yeah, Ben 10 was big, but the card game that was interactive with an Omnitrix portal was the idea. And I was like, dude, that's a really dumb idea. Because it was playing cards, but they weren't shuffling cards. They couldn't do anything. They were nothing. They were just a card with literal computer chip in it.
Yeah.
And it featured the computer chip in the middle of it. It's like, kids are going to take that out. And now you got a choking hazard. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And the guy, and I actually told him he was stupid. It's a little bit more brash back in the day.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, Mr. Smarty Pants, what would you do? And I was like, yeah, you ain't getting me on that one. You hire me, then you can have my idea. So he gave me a job interview almost on the spot, sit and talk about it for a little bit. And I was like, all right, give me an NDA. Let's sign this thing. And we signed an NDA, and I didn't get the job. But I'll be darned if 10 months later Skylanders didn't come out with his name on it. Yeah, I tried to sue guys, but didn't work out too well.
No, he had a little more money, I guess.
Yeah, corporate behind him. My lawyers were like, look, man, there's no way you're winning this. We're not even going to try.
Yeah.
And by the way, welcome to Indiana, small town.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we can wrap it up here. That we very much appreciate you giving us the tour and having us here at your store. Is there anything you want to plug before we end our conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're growing the business. We got a bakery coming here in the next month and a half. We're going to have that arcade open shortly after that. And come this summer, we're going to be doing D&D camps for kids. We're going to be doing D&D for seniors. We're talking, when I say seniors, people that have played more than 5 years. So we're going to do advanced level. For that one, I will be writing the storylines for those. I'm a bit creative, and I'm very malicious.
Wow.
So be careful. But we're going to be running camps for lots of things. I'm currently looking for multiple positions to be filled currently and in the future. I need a tech for the business. So if you know how to repair video games or game systems, or even just small components and can solder small items, I'm looking for you. Job pays pretty well with lots of benefits. I'm looking for females to work behind the counter because I got a bunch of dudes here. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm marketing to moms. Moms don't feel comfortable with guys, not generally.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a mom, somebody that can be comforting and warm and very pleasant. And then for the summer, we're going to be looking for people that can train. So I need a trainer for Pokemon, Magic, D&D, somebody can work with kids and just new people to the industry. And then we're also looking at having swords and boards this summer. If you've seen Amped Guard, basically at that, but for kids. So we're going to teach them the basics of sword play. We're going to teach them responsibility. We're going to teach them how to see other people that are different and treat them well, all within the idea of a Dungeons and Dragons setting.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we got a whole bunch of other stuff coming. But big deal is just follow us on Facebook and see all the neat things that we're doing. We have been up for Game Store of the Year 3 years in a row as the best game store in the world. I'm going to win next year. They just don't know it yet. But, we're going to do it because we offer more and better than anybody else. And, I need my local community and the nearby communities to understand not only are we have a really great location, we have a great vision and a place for everybody where everybody's welcome so long as you're first line of the book, here to have a good time.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, you're in the wrong place.
That's right.
Well, I've certainly had a great time talking with you, and appreciate you giving us your time during your day to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, I
man.
appreciate having the time. It's good times. I'm always open to new experiences, new people, and bringing them to my kingdom.
Again, that's TCB Games, and we'll just cut it off here. So this is Jonathan signing out.
And Josh signing out. That was Todd Nightenhelser, owner of TCB Games. What's your game? You can find them on Facebook, and if you haven't checked us out, we're on there too. Tell everyone you could be on next.